Nairobi has been shattered by shocking news. Prominent city lawyer Mathew Kyalo Mbobu has been gunned down in a daring drive-by shooting along Langata Road. But who exactly was Kyalo Mbobu? Beyond the headlines, he was a man deeply entrenched in Kenya's political and legal machinery, a respected advocate, a tribunal chair, and an intellectual force whose cases often touched the country's political heartbeat.
Kuchukua video. Tulia. Nini ilifanyika? Hakuna mtu anajua bro.
Shots fired on Langata Road. A respected lawyer, Mathew Kyalo Mbobu, slumps behind the wheel. His life cut short in a brutal motorcycle drive-by. This was no ordinary murder. This was a carefully planned execution of a man who spent decades navigating the dangerous intersection between law and politics in Kenya. Kyalo Mbobu wasn't your average city lawyer. He was a boardroom negotiator, a tribunal chair, a lecturer, and a trusted advisor in political and commercial disputes. He studied law to its highest levels, even earning a Master of Laws from Georgetown University in the US. Back home, he became a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators and certified public secretary. In short, he was a man with both brains and the influence to shape Kenya's legal and political order. His name hit headlines in 2005 when he sued Rose Mbize and Etei for defamation. It was more than a personal case. It was about a lawyer fighting for professional dignity. The High Court awarded him 1.5 million Kenyan shillings in damages and an injunction. Years later, in 2008, the Court of Appeal upheld that judgment, cementing his reputation as a man who defended his name with the full force of the law. But not all his battles ended clean. In 2025, Corat Africa accused him of withholding 97 million Kenyan shillings in stakeholder funds from a property deal. The High Court ruled partly against him, ordering repayment of the money while allowing him to retain part of it as security for unpaid fees. This wasn't just a case about money. It highlighted the murky waters of trust, power, and law in Kenya's corporate world. Beyond the big numbers, Mbobu was frequently in court over fees. He fought schools, individuals, and companies to defend his firm's billing. These cases, often involving hundreds of thousands, might seem routine, but they showed how fiercely he protected his profession and his pocket. Where he truly stood out was in arbitration and politics. As chair of the political party's dispute tribunal, he was at the nerve center of Kenya's electoral wars. Every election cycle, disputes over party nominations and internal fights landed on his desk. His rulings didn't just affect politicians, they altered political destinies. Few lawyers in Kenya straddled the line between law and politics as boldly as he did. This is what makes his assassination chilling. When you deal with billions in disputes, arbitrate power struggles, and sit in judgment over political parties, you inevitably make enemies. Mbobu was no stranger to controversy, and in Kenya, influence can be as dangerous as it is powerful. On September 9th, 2025, his enemies struck. A rider pulled up, bullets shattered his windshield, and the city lost a man who symbolized the risks of being at the heart of Kenya's legal political complex. What is even more shocking, Mbobu's killing came just hours after Captain Kungu Muigai, a cousin to former President Uhuru Kenyatta and chair of the Kenya Cultural Center, made explosive revelations accusing senior judges of receiving bribes to deny him justice for more than 33 years. In his statement, Kung disclosed that Mbobu had once served as his lawyer in the protracted legal battles and went further to name judges and officers he claims were part of entrenched judicial corruption.
In 1989, I applied for a loan from KCB through my company, Bejo Amalgamated Limited, to start a floriculture business for growing flowers to export to Europe. The bank approved a loan of 23 million, and they asked me to put initial capital of 13 million to buy the farm, prepare the farm, irrigate it. And I did all that, and I grew 25 acres of flowers. But when the time came for export, which is the most expensive part of this project, we were in the middle of fighting for Section 2A, Mount Patti, and I was on the side of fighting for Mount Patti, and therefore the government was not very happy, and they stopped my loan. They had only disbursed 9 million out of 23. They stopped the loan, and they foreclosed it. They started demanding payment. I went to court and sued them for breach of contract, but the bank said verbally that the matter had been settled through a consent judgment where I agreed that I owe the bank and I'll pay them. I protested because there was nothing like that. The order was supposed to have been recorded by Justice Erastus Gethenji. We went to him through an application, and he dismissed. He said there's no judgment like that. But the bank went to the Court of Appeal before Justice Kwach, Justice Tunoi, and Justice Bosile. And they ruled that indeed that judgment is there, although they didn't see it. They said I must have stolen the file, and they said that without any investigations, and they said that the order exists. I came to find out later through a worker from the lawyer who was representing the bank that bench was given 1 million shillings through Justice Kwach, and the money was delivered at the Hilton Hotel basement parking, and that's why they ruled like that. And I was represented by Professor Mathew Kyalo, who is a renowned lawyer. And when we went to court, he categorically stated, we are here, we want that judgment produced before court. We have no other arguments, we just want that judgment. Again, the lawyer of KCB, Philip Nyachoti, admitted that judgment does not exist. But when they delivered their judgment, the 5 judges, Newton Makadia, Mukathurima Muinoti, Orekantai, Mativo, and Tuyot, they ruled that indeed that judgment is there. They used the word that this judgment is in all the records of this court. And I came to learn through the same friend of mine that they received a bribe of $2.5 million, which was paid in the firm of a prominent lawyer here in Nairobi. My witnesses are ready and willing to give evidence in camera.
The shocking coincidence between the revelations and Mbobu's assassination has stirred public outrage and raised fears over the safety of those speaking out against graft in the corridors of justice. Investigations are ongoing, but one thing is clear: his death isn't just about one man. It is about how law, money, and politics remain fatally entangled in Kenya. Rest in peace. Newsroom, Maisha TV, Mushabi Jr.